Raider Nation, what's going on? This is episode 4 of the Black Hole Breakdown podcast. I'm joined as always with my buddy Chris Reed. Chris, say what's up, man.
Hey, what's up, Raider Nation?
Chris, happy to have you on again, man. Love doing this show with you. I'm hyped about today's special guest, Vic Tafur from The Athletic. He's obviously the best Raiders reporter in the business. He's part of the State of the Nation podcast with Ted Wynn and Jimmy Durkin. Vic's work is well worth The Athletic's subscription. I happily spend a few bucks for his informative Raider stuff that they do almost every day. So, Vic, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Appreciate it.
Man, no problem, man. I appreciate the kind words.
You got it, man. And so how you doing with this whole coronavirus situation? And are you conserving your Twitter energy for next week's frenzy?
You know what? I'm doing all right. My kid just she's told no more school in Oakland for a few weeks. That'll be an investment. But otherwise, we're doing fine. Just trying to do a little self-quarantine and keep our social distance. And hopefully if this thing gets settled before long.
Gotcha. Same with me. I got a couple kids myself, so I understand what you're saying. So I'm just going to get right to it. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on that are a lot more important than football right now, but hopefully this can be a distraction for us and for anyone that's listening, and we'll just dive into the free agency for the Raiders coming up, whether the tampering is going to be Monday and the free agency is going to be Wednesday. If that stays, then great. If not, and that might get moved, but we'll just jump right into it. And why even beat around the bush? I'm going to fire off the highlight question right from the top, asking you about the Raiders' interest in Tom Brady. It's probably been like the hottest Raider Nation topic since Schefter had that report on the Super Bowl. And I read all your stuff, and I know you've consistently kind of reported that the Raiders would swap out Carr for Brady if they had the chance. How confident do you think Gruden and Mayock are that they can haul in Brady? And do you think that, do you have a guesstimate as to a dollar amount that they would offer him?
I think they're hopeful. I'm not sure they're confident. I think, he has a bunch of teams that are interested in him. I think, going back to New England's still a possibility. I think nobody is quite sure what he wants to do. I think everyone's kind of guessing, but he's been pretty close to the vest. So I think, him being arguably the greatest of all time, a lot of teams are going to be able to be willing to kind of move things around and change their offense and do whatever it takes to get him on. Even if he's 43 years old, which is pretty up there, but he's kind of a robot, so I guess it doesn't really matter as far as you think he can help your team for at least 1 or 2 more years. But I think they are. The question is not if they want him; is does he want them? Is the question, and I think that'd be the one only he knows the answer to. As far as does he really feel they can be that close to being a top team next year? Can they really contend? That would be the question only he would have the answer for.
And should they sign Brady hypothetically? There's rumors going around. You don't know what to believe, what not to, but recent rumor this afternoon about the, Raiders are talking to the Bears about Carr. Do you get a sense that the Raiders have a trade partner set up ready to pull the trigger if Brady says yes, or is that something that they would have to figure out after the fact?
Yeah, I think there's so many quarterbacks on the market this year. So many teams. There's probably 10 teams have kind of their situations up in the air. So I think there's not really a trade partner waiting to happen. But I think once these dominoes start to fall, like Brady with the first domino, Tannehill's the next one, I think teams will clearly know what they need, what's out there. I think Carr's contract is very attractive for teams. There's no more guaranteed. You kind of pay as you go for the next 3 years. He's going to make about $19 million a year, I think, is the average. So that's not that bad as far as, the quarterbacks make so much money. But I just think that, he's probably in the middle of the pack in quarterbacks in the NFL. A lot of teams can definitely use him. So I think there will be a lot of interest. But I'm not sure there's a team right now they have in mind, because I think so much is going to change in the next week or so.
Gotcha. And just one more question on that whole quarterback scenario. It's just personally, I would like to know, do you think Derek Carr has a full grasp of their interest in Brady? Obviously he doesn't speak on it a lot. He kind of does some posts here and there for a laugh. And his brothers don't seem to take it too seriously. But do you think he understands that, or they have him pretty, under the impression that all this is just fake news?
His agent definitely keeps tabs on it. His agent never talks to Mike Mayock and John Gruden as often as he can. So definitely they know. I think as of right now, I believe that. I think my number I throw out there is I think it's 65%, 70%. I think he's back. So I think the odds are he's back next year. But Carr knows there's a chance he won't be back. Carr knows that if they have a chance to get Tom Brady, they probably will. So I think it's been a tough time for Derek in this offseason, kind of Obviously, you get troll people on Instagram. You kind of felt a little insecure about how things are going, but the feedback. But it's tough, man. He's been here 6 years, the all-time leading passer. I know he's got his faults, but I definitely think he feels he should be clearly the guy, and he's not. So I think that's got to be hard for him, and he's just waiting to see how it all plays out.
Gotcha. Well, I know, Chris, you got some questions, man, so fire away, dude.
It probably seems like a while now with everything going on that you were covering the Combine. But going back to the Combine, under Mayock and Gruden, the Raiders seem to kind of prioritize college film and football character over size and speed prospects. The one exception being the physical specimen that is Hunter Renfrow. Were there any guys during the interview process that, maybe they're flying under the radar, or names that the Raider fans should pay attention to?
It's a good question. I think when we talked about a lot is Jalen Hurts. They both really like Jalen Hurts. I think they're still also both size and speed guys. I mean, I think John Gruden's a lot more similar to Al Davis than people give him credit for, I think. But definitely the character's important, and kind of I think with Hurts, the big deal was how they're all three guys were sons of coaches that kind of bonded over that. I think they like Hurts' athletic ability. I mean, you hear a lot of buzz about him in the next few weeks. I think he could be, now we're saying second-round pick, but now there's even talk they could maybe trade down from 19 to get him late in the first round. So I'm not sure how much of that's real, how much of it's smoke, but I do know they like him. So I think that's definitely a question mark as far as at 19, if Jordan Love's still there, do you go that way, or do you trade down for Hurts if they really want a quarterback, someone to develop? So I think I'm trying to think of other guys at the Combine that kind of stood out as far as made an impression. I know that they weren't really fond of Javon Kinlaw, the guy who I had mocked for them way back when mocks were really ridiculous, like months ago. But I don't think he'll be the guy for them at 12 or 19. So, the receivers, they like Lamb and Judy. I think I haven't really figured out which one they prefer, because I think they'll probably have a choice, either one at 12. That's where they want to go. But I think there's so many receivers in this draft. Actually, there's 25 guys who have a first 3-round grade. So I think, probably at this point better off, choosing someone from the middle of the pack and getting some other needs taken care of in the first round.
And so the John Gruden kind of surprised people when he let Brunson Buckner go to bring in Rob Marinelli, who he worked with back in Tampa Bay. Anytime we get, a coaching switch, you're going to have a little bit of personnel turnover. Do you think the addition of Marinelli, does it change how the staff views the group of young defensive linemen? And can we expect guys, like Robert Quinn, who have worked with Marinelli, to be targets in free agency?
Yeah, I think Quinn makes sense. I think it'll either be really expensive. I'm not sure. He's kind of up there in years. I'm not sure. Because the market's so thin, you may get more than you want to pay for him. I also think there's a chance the Cowboys bring him back. So I think Quinn will be an obvious guy as far as Marinelli goes in the connection. I think primarily they're really a young D-line, so I think they're looking forward to Rod kind of working with these guys and giving them his own stamp on things. I think they definitely want to improve on the tackle position, the D-tackle position. They're not really crazy about what they have. And those guys inside, they want to get another guy who's probably the best of that bunch next to Hankins. So I could see them definitely adding a tackle, either through the draft or free agency. And but I think primarily it's a pretty young core, and you got to keep most of those guys on, because most of those guys are high draft picks. So I think they just want Rod to work with those guys and make them better.
So last year it was Clemson, right? The Raiders certainly cherry picked from them. Give me your guess on the school that the Raiders will cherry pick the most from coming up at the draft.
Seems like Oklahoma. Seems like we mentioned Hurts, mentioned Lamb. I know they're really high on Kenneth Murray. Again, I'm not sure with Murray. It could be. Mack likes to play with some smokes. There could be some smoke on Kenneth Murray. I know they both said they loved him, and he's a character, he's an alpha male, all that stuff. But I just can't see him at 19. I think that to me sounds a little high for them based on their views on linebackers and where they should go in drafts. But they say they love him, so I think it was the three guys right there from one school. Well, they're all fairly high on. So it could be the year of the Sooner with the Raiders.
I love that CeeDee Lamb's name keeps coming up in this.
You like him better than Judy?
I do.
I like his yards after the catch. I mean, Judy's probably a lot more pro ready, but I just think in Gruden's offense, if it stays the way it's constructed, I like CeeDee Lamb in there a bit more than Judy.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I haven't really I go back and forth. I think they're both different kind of guys. But Or do you just go for the home run? You go for a rug, just go for the Tyreek Hill guy and try and copy the Chiefs that way. But I think all three choices are pretty interesting.
So this is a bit more of an overview of the Raiders, but the NFL, it really seems to favor wealthier owners and franchises, and they've always treated, the smaller teams almost like unwanted stepchildren. With Mark Davis being able to secure the Las Vegas deal, has that changed the perception of him and the Raiders franchise in league circles?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty much, Mark Davis gave all the owners like a pretty nice gift. I mean, I'll get a big chunk of the proceeds, and they all get to go to Vegas every year. And I mean, Super Bowl will be there in 2025 probably. So I think it was a nice present. Like you pay your dues. It's like a big mafia family. You gotta you gotta earn your way. I think he was always thought of as as Al's kid who didn't quite measure up, and now I think he's kind of earned his keep. He's worked hard to improve his standing with other owners. I think this Vegas thing Jerry Jones helped a lot, but just give a lot of credit to Mark for pulling this off. I think people a few years back never thought it was going to happen, and now they're going to have a beautiful new stadium and a beautiful fan base is fired up. Players are fired up. I think the league's fired up. So I think it's just it turned what was a really bad deal into a really good deal. So definitely got to give him credit for that.
Just to kind of follow up with what you said about the stadium and the fan base, as fans, we always think of these teams, as our team, when really they're just independent branches of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And with this new stadium, it's obviously going to usher in a shift towards a wealthier clientele. Do you think there's still room for, the rugged Raider Nation as we've come to know them? Or do you think this is going to be more of an era of the corporate Raiders?
I think it's going to be different. I think they're going to try and have a black hole. I know that. It won't be the same as it was in Oakland, but I think the little watered down. But they'll definitely have the hardcore Raider fans still coming out. But I think that their overall atmosphere is going to change. I think there'll be more, like you mentioned, fans from other teams that come into Vegas more, I think a lot more like casino handouts to big-time gamblers, like, hey, here's 2 tickets to the game on Sunday. I think it'll be a different vibe, but I think it'll be very loud. The stadium looks very good as far as the acoustics and how it's built. I think it should be a very loud stadium. I just don't think it'll be quite as crazy as it was in Oakland, which might be a good thing. Maybe Oakland was too crazy. But yeah, I think I feel bad for the Oakland fans. Obviously, I'm from Oakland myself. But I think everyone's excited there as far as the Raiders go, as far as the new beginning, the new fans, the new energy, the whole new stadium, the whole new deal.
All right, Vic. Well, I just got 2 last questions for you, and they're from a surprise person from my friend Bones, a.k.a. Alexander DeLeon. He wants to know, is your liver going to be scarred?
No. Say it again, man. Turn you out when he says his name. What did that clown say? Ask me again.
Our buddy Bones, a.k.a. Alexander DeLeon, he just wants to know if your liver is going to be scarred and will it survive knowing that you have to spend 8 weekends a year with him in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I should be fine. I think he talks a big game, but he's not that big a drinker. He's off talk, so I should be fine.
And he wants you to be careful how you answer this last one, but who is your favorite Victoria's Secret angel?
Obviously, it's his fiance. I mean, even I like her more than him. Actually, I would if I choose one or the other, I choose her. So I think she'd be good. But cool. No, she's doing big things. I know she's excited about the team moving on. Also,
right on. Well, that's all I got for you today, Vic. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I would say, follow Vic at Vic Tafur on Twitter. But what Raider fan doesn't follow Vic on Twitter? More Raider fans, though, need to subscribe to The Athletic for Vic's work. I'm telling you, it's must-read stuff all the time. It's the best Raider info there is. Vic, thanks for coming on the show and taking the time out, and hope you stay safe out there, man.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right, take care. All right, Chris, that was a dope interview with Vic Tafur, man. How'd you think it went?
I thought it was kind of interesting that he, if you follow Twitter, he's either 100% the best quarterback ever or 100% the worst person to ever play football. So you having somebody somewhere in the middle, it makes sense, and I do like that the organization is evaluating every position, including quarterback, because we've seen in the past where scholarship players, it tends to hurt you if you keep them around too long.
Even though he's the all-time leading passer in Raiders franchise history, I think that that it's a smart move to try and haul in a guy like Tom Brady, and ultimately that would force them as well to also at the same time address the future. And In my opinion, what better guy for a young quarterback to learn behind than the greatest quarterback of all time, arguably. So I like the idea that they have, and I'm really anxious to see how next week goes. So just give me one prediction, Chris, one free agent that you're predicting that they haul in next week.
Man, that is tough. I was leaning towards Robert Quinn until Vic kind of shot that down, depending on the dollar amount matters so much, and that's even if free agency happens with everything going on.
You gonna pick one though, or are you just gonna be scared and not say one?
I don't really have one guy
Okay.
that I'm looking at that I'm like, man,
All right,
I think they really like
then.
Robbie Anderson.
I'll give you a guarantee then. I'm gonna say that they're gonna sign former Bengals linebacker Nick Vigil, who has experience with Paul Gunther in Cincinnati. I think they're going to add him to the defense, so that'll be my prediction. I think that's about it for the show. I hope everyone stays safe. Hopefully we were able to provide some sort of getaway from all this, stress that's going on. But I hope everyone stays healthy. And, in the meantime, go Raiders. And, hey, Chris, as always, man, thanks for being my co-host and being on the show with me, dude.
Yeah, good talking with you, buddy.
All right, man, take care, everyone. Peace out. Go Raiders.